Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to We the People Prepping. This is Dan. Let's talk a little bit about this domestic terrorist bill that they are trying to push through the Senate and the House. I took some time earlier and was reading through it, and there was a reoccurring theme in this bill. And the reoccurring theme was basically calling those of us on the right white supremacists, which was repeated over and over during the reading of this bill, and classifying the people on the right as domestic terrorists, but not the people on the left so much. They call out the people on the right, but they don't say nothing about BLM, Antifa, or nothing like that. It's all aimed toward those of us on the right. The wording in it is just appalling. Really, it basically says that that we on the right have been radicalized by Donald Trump, and that they basically will be giving authority to the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security to basically spy on American citizens, especially those on the right. They called us extremists and all sorts of things. But, if this passes, we're basically going to be living in a police state where they be like the KGB in former Russia. They'll be able to spy on you and listen in on your phone calls, text messages. So basically, if you've said or done anything that is against their narrative, against the policies that they are pushing, and if you've spoken out against them, against the left in any way, shape, or form, you're going to be under surveillance. Now, say domestic terrorists. Let's look at the definition of a terrorist, shall we? It says a terrorist uses fear and intimidation to enforce their political views upon others, and basically to control through fear, to to promote a political agenda through fear. These are the definitions of a terrorist. Okay, now, who is it in this country that is pushing a political agenda through fear? Who is it in this country that is, forcing their views on others through fear? Who is it that's, silencing those with different opinions? It isn't the right that are doing this. It isn't those of us that are conservative and that believe in the Constitution and freedoms and and our First Amendment and so forth. That would be the left, the Democrats. The liberals, the ones that don't believe that you should be able to have the freedom of speech except for what they tell you that you can say and can't say, and what you can think and can't think. They're the domestic terrorists, according to the definition of a terrorist. I don't recall ever assaulting anybody because they had a difference of opinion with me, because they had a different political view. I've had many discussions with people. I've been, over the last few years, probably 10, 12 years, I get assaulted a lot by the people that I debate political and other things with, that are from the left. I had a lot of friends that were from the left, and I mean, we got along great until recently. I mean, they started calling me racist, bigot, all sorts of other crap. So, I mean, I'd known these people for years, been friends with them, had them over to my home for dinner, went out drinking with them, just had a good old time together. And then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I'm a bad guy. I didn't change. I'm the same person I've always been. But because of my political views and my support of Trump and all that, my view on abortion, all of a sudden I'm evil. You know, I'm the enemy, and I don't know. I don't understand how that works, honestly, because I mean, I never assaulted them, never called them names, nothing. I mean, yeah, we had some heated discussions, but it wasn't. I mean, some of these people actually physically assaulted me, you know, because they didn't like my opinions on things. Well, that's what this country was founded on, was a difference of opinions. But now, if they pass this domestic terrorist bill, if you speak up whatsoever, you're screwed. They're going to be looking at, of course, our on YouTube, especially at us creators, and I guarantee you they're going to be coming after us. I mean, the domestic terrorists are the ones on the left, but we're being the ones persecuted. I mean, they're the ones canceling our freedom of speech. The media and everything. It's all propaganda for their side. They get the general population to believe that what they want them to believe through all the propaganda. Just right now, if you are on the right, okay. I had a friend growing up. Well, it was my grandmother's neighbor. She was an old Jewish woman. She'd gone through the concentration camps in Germany in the late 30s, early 40s, and she watched her parents and siblings be put to death while she was used for, shall we say, entertainment by the who. Okay, and well, she told me a lot of stories about how it all began over there, and I've been watching as this country follows along the same path as 30s and 40s Germany. We're coming to that point right now where we are going to be under a surveillance state, just like the Jews were in Germany. I mean, they were constantly watched. I mean, their phone calls listened to. I mean, it was just. It's a shame that this country has fallen so far, but we're all in pretty bad trouble here right now. The agenda on the left is just abominable. They are after our free speech, and once they take your freedom of speech, it makes them easier to take away the Second Amendment, Third, Fourth, so on. It makes it easier because we can't communicate freely like we do now. Okay, so once they manage to take away the freedom of speech, and they have us under surveillance all the time, how will we defend our other rights as they take them away? I mean, it scares me to think where this country's going. Our current administration is basically selling us out to to China. I mean, if you've been watching the news lately and paying attention to any of what's going on, they are cozying back up to China slowly but surely, and they're getting in deep with them again. It's they a lot of the people in the current administration that are being nominated for higher positions have made statements in the past like we need to model our society after China, and stuff like that. Now, I don't want a society like China myself. I don't know about you, but I'm happy with freedom and not being told what to do and where to go, and where I can live, where I can't live, how many kids I can have, all that kind of stuff. It's horrifying. But if you read that bill that they are trying to pass through for the domestic terrorism 2021, it's horrific. It really is. I mean, you have to read this for yourself to believe it. Now, there's another issue I want to discuss, and that's the matter of the teachers' unions. You have these unions have way too much power. Okay, you have teachers unions in the major cities that are refusing to go back to school and teach the kids, even though in the last stimulus package they got like $86 billion to retrofit schools to make it safe. And the science, this administration claims, oh, we're following the science. Well, the science shows that the transmission rate of the virus in a school setting is practically non-existent. Okay, that's one of the safest environments actually, because transmission from kids is practically non-existent. And then they're claiming, oh, it's our health. We're worried about our health. According to the science, you are more likely to contract COVID. Yes, I said it. Through in your home than you are through a school setting. Okay, so what is up with them wanting more money? They're just trying to extort more and more money. These unions, these teachers unions, they're trying to extort more and more money from the American people to educate our kids, and they're not even educating our kids in a proper manner. They're brainwashing our children. Okay, so personally, I would rather just disassemble the whole damn school system and start over, because what we've got now is just nothing but indoctrination camps. It's not education. I've spoke on this before. I mean, when they're not teaching the children their constitutional rights like they did when I was a kid, I mean, that just shows you that they are getting away from education, because that should be one of the most important things that you learn in school is your constitutional rights. Because if you don't know your rights, then how do you know if you've lost your rights? But I say that we need to dismantle either the entire school system or at least the teachers unions themselves. They need to be abolished. These people are greedy. And they do a piss poor job anyhow of education. I mean, honestly, let's face it. They do. It's abominable the things that they teach our children in school. They don't educate them. They indoctrinate them. I mean, my kids didn't know jack squat about the atrocities of World War II. Of what Hitler, I said his name, what he did to people of that era. They don't even know the sacrifices that the rest of the world made to combat and defeat his fascist regime. I mean, that's a pretty telling tale of how bad our education system is. We need to reevaluate it, overhaul it, get it back to the basics like it should be, you know. And any teacher that interjects their opinions or, you know, their political views, any of that crap, they need to be out the door instantly. There need no ifs, ands, or buts. You should not have protection in your job to do evil, which is exactly what they do. You know, growing up as a kid in school, I never knew any of my teachers' political views. Okay? Not a single one. None of my teachers ever expressed their political views. Okay? How is it that all of my kids know their teachers' political views? That's a no-no. That you are imposing your views upon my children. Okay? That is not your job. Your job is to teach them reading, writing, arithmetic, and history, and so forth. It is not to tell my children what they should think. That's why I think that all of these teachers' unions need to be abolished. Any teacher that has a student that knows their political beliefs, their political views, should never teach again. Period. If your students know your political views, you are a horrible teacher. You are not a teacher. You're an indoctrinator, and you need to be gone permanently, never to teach another child again in your life. You should have your teacher's license revoked. Okay? You should be put on a list so that you would never, ever work in education again. All these college professors that preach their philosophies of, liberalism and all that shit, they need to be gone too. Never to set foot inside of an academic building again. Okay? Ever. You're paying good money to send your kids to school at these colleges just so that they can be indoctrinated to hate you. Because you are part of the system. You know, you believe in free enterprise and all that. You don't believe in just giving somebody everything. You know, so they're telling your kids that you are the enemy. You know, this all needs to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if all of us, we the people of this country, stand up and tell them, look, we ain't doing this no more. We're going to change this whole fucking thing. Okay? That's just the way it has to be. If we all actually stood up and banded together, we could make change in this country. Change for the better. I mean, I have watched society decline so bad over my lifetime. I mean, it scares the crap out of me. And I am thankful that I am closer to the end of my life than I am to the beginning of it, because all the bullshit that's happening in this world and in this country, I don't want to live through all that, honestly. Which is another reason that, hey, if a war pops off, count me in. Because I would rather die free than to live on my knees. And that's just the God's honest truth. I'll stop my rant here. This has been Dan with We the People. If you like my content, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Share my content. I appreciate it. God bless y'all. Have a hell of a night. Bye.